Greetings from Snake Mountain Boat Works on Tuesday, August 13, 2024. Yes, Miss Gail is with us again, and still, as you can see, Rick has removed a certain amount of material from the bottom of Miss Gail, or Miss Gail's bottom. And I'm going to hand it over to Rick so that he can walk us through what he's discovered and what he thinks, particularly about the frames.
Well, so far, I mean, we're gonna have to let it dry out good, but I think we might be all right, at least on most of them.
Most of the frames?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a little tender when I was getting the screws out and stuff, but that could be moisture, so you get moisture in the wood, it's gonna make it easier to pull them out.
Sure.
But once I get them all cleaned up, I'm gonna scrape them down, clean them all up.
Clean all this grease off.
Yeah, and then I'll take and use a pick and give it a test. And
Right. It almost, Rick, almost looks as though most of the grease is sitting on top of
yeah,
the Chris-Craft bilge paint.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be all right once I scrape them down, so.
This engine, this boat is powered by a Chris-Craft 327 that has been, let's say, tuned up. It has no, this one is powered by a Crusader 350 that Robert Henkel is working on to rebuild. It had a humongous carburetor on it, and it had to have visited incredible torque on what is a relatively small 17-foot hull for a 350 V8. And the reason I suspect that there were some torque issues is we've got this puppy that has been scabbed on to the engine logs on both port and starboard. It must have been that this Crusader was just way too much. You can see it's scabbed on there, and this is kind of dumb because now we've got this split. We've got the aft plank actually pushed out with this little block underneath it. So this one's doing absolutely nothing. Rick, I think as you worked on it,
you can see the fiberglass, and that's why it's very bad to put fiberglass on wood. You can see over here, that's some of it's like a ½ inch thick.
the fiberglass is.
Yeah, and I've got to sand all that off now.
Wow.
And it don't come off easy.
No.
As you can see, I worked quite a bit right here to get this down.
And we were concerned about the fact that somebody had put an eye through the stem here where it did not belong. But it looks like we can repair that with a Dutchman, I think.
Yeah, it seems to be pretty solid down through and up through here. So.
That's a plus. The sad thing is, because the mad fiberglasser went way too far, we're going to lose this first plank above the water line on both sides.
We're going to lose all but 3 of them.
Yeah.
Because of where the fiberglass comes around. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, and we got fiberglass here on this one too.
So we'll be, and the chine plank was totally shot, right?
Yeah, there was nothing. It was.
So we'll be replacing both the chine plank and what I'll call the #1 plank, counting from waterline up on both sides. But it looks like as though structurally, she's really pretty sound. Rick is going to be faced with lots and lots of scraping and cleaning. But I went around and thumped these frames, and there's not a single one that is sloppy and loose.
No, they're tight.
And remember, the inner skin on this model is plywood. And it was, what, almost half-inch plywood, right?
Half-inch, yeah.
Yeah. So it alone adds all sorts of strength. Now, when we put this back together, of course, the plywood inner skin will be bedded in 3M 5200 on every single frame, along the keel, right, and along the chine frame plank.
Yeah, and the battens.
And then the battens will be replaced. It's just,
Yeah, they're really not great. On the other one, we made them a little bit bigger as far as width and a little thicker.
with this engine, the battens lend stiffness to the bottom, and with that Crusader 350 in there, I think she would be well served by having the battens be a little bit heavier than they are now. So at least the fiberglass is mostly gone, and we can begin cleaning, and then the next step will be to begin installing her plywood 5200 bottom. So with that, we'll finish this update. And thank you very much. Bye-bye for now from Snake Mountain Boat Works.